Alrighty, good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Gilbert. I am the Membership Director with CAI West Florida Chapter. This morning, we are very happy to have with us Nimie Gill of Suncoast Web Marketing. She will be providing a lesson for us on how to write blogs and successfully reach your audience. This program is brought to you by the CAI West Florida Chapter Business Partner Committee. If you'd like more information on the committee itself, who sits on the committee, you can visit our website, www.caiwestflorida.org. If you're interested in participating on the committee, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll leave my contact information in the chat. I suggest everyone else do that at some point. Otherwise, if you want to stay in touch, there is a Q&A section below. So if we're going through this, Nimie informed me that it's about a half-hour presentation, and then we'll do some Q&A. So if something pops in your head, please feel free to leave it in the Q&A. And then we're going to go from there. So I'm going to give the power over to Nimie, and we will go from there.
All right. Thank you so much for the short little introduction there. We are going to be sharing my screen. There we go. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is really developing your digital marketing strategy. And one of those is using your blog as a secret weapon. So, short introduction. My name's Nimie Gill. I am the owner of Suncoast Web Marketing. We've been in existence for about 8 years now. I have close to 10 years in the digital marketing field. We do focus on website design and redesign, social media marketing, local SEO, content marketing like blogs, email marketing, ads, consulting, and training. A little bit about me. I have a 26-year-old daughter, Danielle. We are both active members of the 4-H Foundation and 4-H program. We both grew up in the program and have consistently supported it. My previous career, I had a very large horse showing operation. We trained and bred paint horses. And my hobbies now, I've got 2 wonderful fur babies, my 2 border collies. I do enjoy gardening, reading, arts and crafts. I'm a very active member of BNI and also support director consultant coach there with several other chapters. Okay, so a little bit about the company. We are Sarasota based. We focus on small to medium sized businesses, and our difference from us and other digital marketing companies, everything is custom designed for that purpose of your business and that goal. It is not a cookie cutter program that you have to fit your marketing into. So we do offer all types of services. All right, so we're going to move on to the presentation. You got a blog. Content's crucial, and you got a blog. How many of you panicked a little bit? You come up with a half dozen excuses in your head why you can't, why you haven't. So fear, procrastination, misconception, they're all the enemies. If you're afraid you can't write well enough, don't let it stop you. You can always have someone edit your blogs or write them for you. Because you see, blogging is really essential for your website. It provides new content on a regular basis, which Google really likes. It's also a good way for you to let current and potential clients know what makes you different, why they need you, why they need what you have, or even how to use what you've already purchased. So instead of clogging up your website, so much information about every product, service, or niche, you can write an informative article instead. This will make your website easier to navigate, highlight the content you want available, and display it in a more appealing manner. You see, Google, being the largest search engine, there's over 4 billion people currently on the internet, and there's 8.5 billion searches a day just on Google alone. That's 14% of searches are questions, how to do something, why to do something, what do I do? They're searching for answers that your business should be providing. 84% of people search 3 or more times a day. Wouldn't you like them to be finding your information? What if you could possibly generate more business from 3 to 4 searches a day. So why? Why do we even bother? Well, wouldn't it be nice if you could refer prospective clients to your blog? Someone asks you a question, you say, you know, I've got that information right on my website for you. You could learn about your company and all the answers to their questions, and even the questions they hadn't yet considered. They even maybe share your articles with others or on social media. You could generate new website traffic, build your authority and trust to a new level, even create social media content from those articles, because we all struggle for great social media content. Did you know that content can even be repurposed? I know one of y'all said you did podcasts. Well, those articles could be from a podcast, or it could be the script for a podcast or video. There's lots of things to do once you set your mind to writing about your business. So what is a blog? By definition, it's really just a page or a type of website where the content's displayed in chronological order, but in reverse. So the newest posts show first. They're also really easily sorted by category, which is super important. So let's go on to now, what is a post, right? Well, post is simply an article, but we're going to go into a little bit more depth of that. And we're going to talk about what it's not. So it's not a short little under 350 words blurb, or it's not updated daily. It's not some random thoughts, memes, just a video or some social media post you've thrown on there, and it's really not filled with jargon. What it is, it's longer than 350 words, usually up to about 1,500. It's updated consistently, time period's up to you, but make it consistent. It's really well thought out. Now, it might have infographics, but it has an article with it. It might have a video, but there's always an article with it. It's definitely informative, and it's usually about 10th grade reading level. So nothing too complicated. Keep it easy to read and enjoyable. Now, something I really need to mention that I didn't put on the list. Newsletters are not articles, because generally they don't have enough value to be added to a website. Now, there are exceptions. B2B businesses, financial businesses, communities, and some associations, they put out information on their newsletters that's important enough to archive. People may want to go back and look at that information later. In these cases, I always suggest setting up a newsletter archive on the website separate from the blog page. Newsletters for most businesses are a great way to drive readers to a blog. For instance, you send out an email every month that has a snippet of your new articles on it. When people click on that, it actually takes them to the website to read the article. And this is driving that traffic back to your website. And hopefully, while they're there, they kind of stick around a bit and read some other things. Search engines pick up on this. They realize that you are an authority in your field, and it starts raising your ranks. So what else? The how and the when. Now, every professional finds themselves answering tons of common questions. Same question over and over again to every prospective client. Well, these are great topics to write about. Keep a list of questions your clients ask and use them as topics for your blog articles. See, frequently asked questions, new products or services, how-to articles, instructions for product usage, industry trends, they're all relevant subjects. You're an expert in your field. Use the blog to showcase that expertise. Keep a pad of paper next to the phone, write the questions down. Jot them down on your phone. Anywhere that you are and you're hearing these topics that you have to answer, someone's also searching for those on Google. Another great point would be to research competition. What are they talking about? Well, you need to be doing the same thing your competition's doing doing it better and doing it to a higher level. So where do you get started? This is what people have the real issue with. Taking that big leap of faith. You've been thinking about it forever, but you just don't know how to get started. Well, you got to start by generating that list of topics. Then you come up with a plan, how often you're going to post, and what each topic is going to look like. So coming up with a little bit of an outline. You've got the topic, then maybe you're going to go through the steps of how to do it. Maybe you want a video with that. Start jotting down some notes that come up with that outline of that subject. Remember, keep it simple. We said 10th grade level. So don't get too technical. Don't create run-on sentences. Don't really get into the granular aspect of it unless it's necessary. Now, as far as the formatting go, we tend to skim read an article. We're going to go in, we're going to glance at it, we're going to bounce to the bottom, back up. Within 6 seconds, we're going to make a decision whether or not we want to read it. So keep those paragraphs short, right about 4 lines each. Use bullet points, use white space, use lists, use quotes. Whatever it takes to draw your eye in is how you want to create it. When you're talking about images, don't steal them off the internet. That is illegal, and people are actually tracing them down and getting sued for that. You want to purchase licensed stock images, or even better, use your own images or hire a photographer. Create really nice infographics, charts, graphs where they're useful, or have someone create them for you. Now, if you think this article has to be some long literary masterpiece, you're wrong. It really needs to reflect your personality. The personality of you and your business. It needs to be easy to read and only as long as necessary to get the point across. If you're finding you cannot stretch it to 350 words without padding it with excess words, how about putting a couple similar questions together on one page and making it a little longer? A lot of times you can come up with several questions that lead into each other, and it can make that article much more complete and much more user-friendly for the person that's come to your website. So subject research. One of the things that I did was a search on Google for the best type of roofing. This little white box is called a rich snippet. Google uses these to display information they think matches my criteria. Now, what you see there is not the names of the articles. It's what Google thinks those articles are about. If you were to open those on the computer, there's going to be 1 or 2 articles under each one. What I suggest doing is when you get to the article, you right-click on it. It's going to pop up, do you want to open this in a new tab? Open them all in a new tab. Open up a spreadsheet or a document, copy that URL, copy that title into a spreadsheet so you have it. Now read those articles. Are they good? Can you write something more informative than that? If not, leave it alone, unless it's really important for your business. But if you think you can outwrite that or write something a little different, a little longer, a little better, give it a shot. One of the easiest ways to do it, though, is to find a subject that's not being talked about a lot. I did a similar search, and that one was more towards the negative, right? It was asking Google what was the worst roofing material to use in Florida. That didn't come up, not with a direct answer. It was basically the same search shown again. People love to read articles. They're kind of the negative, right? Why you should not buy a product. Those are great ones to write. Now, don't do a bait and switch. Actually answer the question. If you've been on Facebook enough, you see the ones that tell you like the worst food to eat, but then they never answer that question. That's a bad user experience. You don't ever want to bait and switch. You want to answer the question. But while you're talking about that bad roofing material, you can also tell them how you offer superior roofing material. That becomes your call to action, that free inspection to see if you've used the bad roofing material and how we can make it better. So now it does take a little bit of SEO, search engine optimization, to get that article in the rich snippet category. But writing a great article is the first start. So come up with some ideas simply by doing a little research. Now, your title. Believe it or not, the title is the most important part. 80% of the time you spend on this should be spent on writing the title. You want to intrigue that person into writing it. It's like a book title. You want to also have some keywords. You don't want to name it something cutesy. You want Google to figure out what it's about. Keep it short, simple, and to the point. Be clear about that main benefit, right? You want to announce exciting news, but this needs to be news the audience cares about, not something that's just exciting to you. You can put questions in the headline. You can write headlines that appeal to someone's hunger for knowledge. Tell your audience what to do, right? Do this now too. How to do this. You want to create the most valuable information resource on that subject. What works even better is to add numbers, right? 7 ways to, 5 types of. Always use second person point of view. That's the you perspective. So you're going to put in pronouns you, your, yourself, yourselves. Put that into a sentence that might work using that same roofing. The worst material you can use on your roof, right? Make it personal. But the biggest thing now, don't get hung up on the title right at the start. The idea isn't to create this magnificent title and then write the article. Create a working title, create the article. Once you've written the article, you've got a feel for the subject, where it went. Now it's much easier to go back and rewrite that title. You may rewrite it 5 or 6 times. You may even write it, post it, then rewrite the title 6 months later because it didn't get the response you wanted. And that's okay. You'll get better at writing titles. There are title generators out there, but I don't find they work really well. What they tend to do is give you about 20 different how to, why to, and then just change out the keyword that you gave them. So they're all real cookie cutter, and some of them don't even make sense. Come up with them on your own. Base it on how the people are asking you the questions. Use their language back at you, back at them that they used on you, and you're going to find it works a lot better that way. It's going to resonate with your audience. So what else do you need to do? Well, develop a style and then stick to it. How you talk to people should be represented in that blog. It shouldn't be so starched, so pressed, and then you're a casual person. If you're starched and pressed with your presentations, don't write in casual form. You want people to get to know you by reading the article. So it's really important that personality shines through. Now, if you use sources, if you quote statistics, building codes, facts, link to the source. We want to keep it easy to read, so we talk about using subheadings. Best material for a roof. Materials I would not use would be a subheading. Why I use that material is a subheading. A subheading simply is in outline terms, something that describes the subject matter. So it's easy for me to then skim down, find the paragraph with that heading that's going to answer my question. We've talked about using bullet points, lists, and white space. Now, don't add so much white space that I might think I'm done. I want it to be just an inch white space to give me some breathing room. When you've shopped at a store and the aisleways are so cluttered and the products are piled on top of each other, you don't stay and shop as long. Articles can feel the same way. Giving the reader some breathing space to catch their breath and process what they're looking at. Quotes work really well too. Captions on images. We want things to draw the eye in. Next, you want to really check your analytics. See what's working, what's not working. That's analytics hooked to your website. That's the analytics that are on your social media platforms. You want to see how many people are coming from where it's shared to the website to read it. That could be your email letters, your social media, any blogging places that you've linked it to. You want to make sure you're checking to see which articles are doing well, which articles are indexed, which ones are not. Those that aren't getting indexed, aren't getting a lot of response, rewrite them a bit. Maybe the title's wrong. Maybe the information's outdated. Go back and look at it. You want to recheck your information periodically for links that have become broken, for information that's become outdated, services you don't offer anymore, or maybe you offer more of. You want to go back and refresh this content, or maybe even remove it. Now, when you remove an article, really important that you redirect that URL to a similar subject on the website, on another article. You don't want to leave that link broken. It's bad for SEO. It's really bad for user experience. Don't you hate it when you go to an article in the search and you get there and it says link not found, page not found? It's a waste of time. No one wants to experience that. Give them what they're looking for. So, useful tips and tricks. Write for the prospect. Too many professionals write for themselves or from their contact sphere. Remember who your client is, who the prospective client is, and write what they're interested in their language and for them. Create that content calendar. Simple spreadsheet that lays out the next quarter, next 6 months of topics, when they're going to be posted, when you're going to post to social media, and therefore, yes.
Hey, Nimie, so we have a question in the chat from Sam, and I just wanted to get, I was taking notes, but he just questioned indexed, and I think he just wanted a little bit more clarification on that.
Absolutely. So index means that Google has recognized it and has placed it in the search results somewhere. Now, it may be back on page 1000, but they have actually seen it. Some articles will not get indexed, which means they will not be shown to the general public. Google has not felt that they, for whatever reason, are worthy of them. All right, hope that answered it. So content calendar, we want to lay that out really well. You can actually put on there when you're going to post to Facebook, when you're going to post to LinkedIn, when you're going to send out your newsletter. Then as you finish an article, you can actually fill that information in. Save the links, save the post, save the images you've created. And it makes it really easy for you or someone else to go back and schedule all of that reposting of that information. We talked about what a high quality photo is. You want to make sure they're sized correctly, they display correctly. Well-written content, informative articles. Do not forget that call to action. The whole reason you wrote this was to get someone to do something. So make sure your bottom paragraph, line or two, has a call to action in. We'll come out and inspect your roof for free. Let you know that you've got hurricane-proof roofing, keep you safe from the storm. And then maybe your phone number or a link to the contact button. Does writing paralyze you? As soon as you pick up that pen and pencil, it just doesn't come out of your head. Talk to text is a great feature. You can record the story on your phone, play it back to a document using a little microphone on Google Docs or Word Docs, get it to type. You can talk to your computer, get it to type. All you gotta do is edit it. Make sure you're using a grammar checker. Nothing worse than reading an informational article by an expert that has poor grammar or spelling. I use Grammarly Pro, works really well, very easy to use, very inexpensive. Plagiarism. Now, you wouldn't think that would be a problem since you're the one that wrote the article. But if you are doing research and fact checking, chances are you've copied a few lines here and there. Grammarly Pro also has a plagiarism checker. You want to stay under 20% plagiarism. How about video? If you've written an article, it could now be a script for a video. If you've done a video, you can use the transcript for an article. Podcasts work the same way. Video becomes a transcript and an audio. So now you have all different formats to use to repurpose the same content. Probably one of the most important ones is just setting that time aside. It's said that 15 minutes a day of writing will increase your potential for writing. So even just writing a list of subjects for 15 minutes every morning will start getting your mind working towards that gear. Set aside an hour a week, 2 hours a month, whatever it takes, but sit down and really get creative. Even if you're going to hire someone to write for you, you have to be part of the process, or the articles are not going to be about your business. They're going to be about someone else's roofing company, someone else's plumbing company, somebody else's law firm. They're going to be very general compared to how you would like them to be. Now you can do it. I have faith in you because you're already an expert in your field. People trust you, and because of that, they buy from you. If you've helped them, they're going to buy from you. If they enjoy being associated with you, like through social media, it helps in the buying process. When you can prove you have a better solution, a better product, a better service, you will get more sales. This doesn't happen right away. This is why we have to be consistent and we have to take time doing it. We're talking about the writing, we're talking about the social media. They have to know that you care and that you can give them the professionalism on a consistent basis before they make that. What is it in it for them? That's all they really care about when they make a purchase. So you want to be that leading authority. In order to do that, you have to give something away. You have to give them a tiny thing to improve their lives. Now, I get a lot of pushback when I say, do a how-to video. The plumber says, well, I don't want to show them how to fix their sink. I'll lose business. Really? Because I really doubt that most of that plumber's business came from people who were searching for a how-to video. But if you can provide that how-to video for the person that does want to do it themselves, if they run into trouble, who are they going to call? If their neighbor runs into trouble, who are they going to remember? People remember those that help them. There was a guy who really knocked the internet out of the park. He sold appliance repair parts. He published a video on how to install every part. He also had a service that provided installation, but he knew that he would still sell more parts to the do-it-yourselfers if he gave instructions, and it worked. He became one of the leading businesses in the nation for those parts. He was not afraid to give away his expertise because he believed in that giver's game, that when you give things away, people will remember you and reciprocate. So put your best information forward. Don't be afraid of having to hold back secrets. Now, if you're publishing a recipe and you've got a famous restaurant, you might leave out that secret ingredient, but make it pretty similar. Because those that come to a restaurant for the experience are still going to keep coming for the experience if you keep providing it. So I hope this gave you some inspiration today. It's a lot of information to cover. It's really hard to explain to you how to exactly write something, but this gives you a layout of the steps to start the thinking process, the do's and don'ts that make it great. If you still need help, I do offer consultation and training where we can sit down one-to-one and go through the steps. I do offer editing, and I do offer article creation. But I really think that most people can do it themselves if you just put a little time and effort into it. And I would be happy to answer any questions.
I actually have a quick question. I've got a couple. In one area of your presentation, you mentioned develop your own style.
Yep.
Would you say that if you were to have a blog section on your website, does it benefit having sort of multiple writers that have their own styles or one go-to? What do you think would provide a bigger retention when it comes to audience? Because like you said, if you're writing in your own style, people might like it. Is it better to have different voices or one consistent?
I think that would depend on your industry.
Okay.
Do you have different service providers? Are you providing one service? If you are a plumbing company and you're the sole plumber, then it's probably better coming from one voice. Now, if you are a law firm with multiple partners, then each partner having their own articles would make more sense.
Okay. Appreciate that. We have a question in the Q&A section from Nia from Biller Reinhardt. She asks, how often do you recommend we post, and should our social media posts mimic the blog?
Great question. So there's a lot of controversy on how often to post, right? And a lot of us panic because we think of the mommy bloggers and the travel bloggers who are posting daily, but they're posting for a different reason. That's not a business blog. That is blogging as a business, and they just want you to click on the ads. So what I recommend is you coming up with a schedule that works for you. If once a week works for you and you have that content, do it. If every 2 weeks works for you and you have the content to do that, fine. Don't go months at a time. Once a month works well for a lot of businesses, but stick to the schedule and really be consistent with it. Social media is going to have a link back to the article, and then it's going to be a quote from the article, a question about the article, something intriguing that makes you want to go read more. So you can actually do multiple social media posts for the same article that all have something different. Maybe a 1 or 2 sentences that really resonate. You know, we'll go back to the roofing example. Did you know that some materials are not suitable for roofing in Florida? I was surprised at the list, and then have the article. People might want to go read that list. Have something intriguing on there the same way. So it really depends on what the article's about, but you don't want to post the full article in the post. You want a snippet, something intriguing that leads them to click that link to go read the rest of the article. And that's going to vary depending on what social media platform you're on, because they too have their different voice to use.
Okay, and I actually have another question. You mentioned not to use title generators because they become cookie cutter, or sometimes don't even.
Yeah, they don't make sense sometimes.
But is there, for somebody who might really want to implement blogs into their professional repertoire, but they just don't have a starting point, are there like software programs, you know, kind of like how the little paperclip used to show up when you wanted to build a resume, just like a go-to that you would recommend? Or do you just say start from scratch and build your own project?
Yeah, I would say start from scratch. There are a couple out there. I've never used any of them. And really it's kind of silly because it just says subject, introduction. You know, it's just writing you through an outline. Think of a newspaper article, right? Who, what, when, where, and why. So get the subject. Your subject is how to install a sink. Then determine how you're going to do this. Are you going to do it? What's it going to look like? Is it going to be step 1, step 2, step 3, or is it going to be paragraphs? Then come up with what each paragraph is going to be. The first one's going to be, you know, today I'm going to give you the 10 steps on installing that sink. You may want to do this yourself, but it's always good knowledge to have. Then you may want to come on and hire a professional. And then you might go in, you know, step 1, removing the old sink, and go through the steps there. Step 2, cleaning the countertop and preparing for the new sink. Step 3. So you've got that, and then just start adding to it and read through it. Every article is going to be a little different. They're not all going to be the same thing. You know, hopefully you're not going to just plug and play all the way across. But I think if you're doing a how-to, a lot of times talking your way through it and recording the steps and then going back and editing it really helps. Now, if I were to ask you a question, you'd be able to answer me.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope so. If you're really good in your field, you should just be able to verbally answer me. So it's the same thing. Ask
Okay.
yourself the question, verbally answer it, then just go back and edit it so you've got a nice structure to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
We have another question from Andrew Penny. He's a homeowner within our chapter. He asks, do you think starting a blog inside an established condo association website would be a good way to help build your community, including increase owner knowledge of rules?
Yeah, probably if it's done correctly, definitely. It's a good place that you could write about events you've had in the past and the success of them and how it went. So then new members would maybe want to go to future events. You could talk about rule changes. You could put the minutes to your meetings in there. It would be, again, archived. You would use association minutes or meetings as the category. So if I wanted to go in and I missed certain meetings, or I wanted to see how a vote went, I could click on that category, all the minutes come up. Events, all the events come up. Rules, all the rules come up. So yeah, that would be a great way for an association to do that instead of just having pages and pages that really don't connect together.
Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Mhm.
And just something I was thinking about when you said that, because we do have some professional development people in attendance today. They want to inform, but there's also that urge to promote. So within a blog, what is probably the fairest balance between being informative versus promoting your brand? Because you probably want to have some of that, but
Yeah, you want to have a call to action.
Okay.
So you want to, usually the last paragraph is where this is what we do. This is how we help people, whatever it is you do, how we help people, how we help businesses. This presentation, it was actually an article that I wrote a while back. And at the very end of it, I say, if you still got questions, if you need help, if you need edits or you need creation, reach out to us. We offer these services. We offer consultation and training. And it's just that easy. It's at the very end. It's not hugely self-promoting, but we're here to help. The rest of it's free information.
Okay. So closing out on that, just a friendly reminder, we're here for you type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And the same thing, if you're a plumber, say, you may try this do-it-yourself project yourself. If things go wrong or you decide it's not for you, give us a call. We'd be glad to give you an estimate.
Makes sense. Okay, I don't have any other questions. Last minute, does anybody have anything they want to ask while we have Nimie at the ability to answer your questions? I'll give him a minute to type, but in the meantime, Nimie, I do want to thank you on behalf of CAI and the Business Partner Committee. Jason Hamilton with Pinnacle was able to make this connection for us, and the Business Partner Committee consists of Cindy Bass, the committee chair of Florida Southern Roofing, Craig Fink of Centennial Bank, who's our board liaison, Michelle Colburn of Tannenbaum, Lamole, and Kleinberg, Jason Hamilton, Pinnacle Community Association Management, Sue Madalena of Pestguard Commercial Services, Luis Martinez, Florida Paints, Jerry Ellen Parks, Juniper Landscaping, Eric Poland, Blue Line Pressure Washing, Tara Ritchie, Paul Davis of Sarasota and Charlotte, and Bill Simpson of Yellowstone Landscape. So we appreciate the committee for helping us put this together, and we definitely appreciate your time today. Your knowledge, we'll put all of that to good use moving forward. So thank you very much.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. And I think Jason had a great question about comments. And I turn off commenting on blogs because they tend to just be a spam haven. Everyone from India who's selling bad backlinks comes and posts a link, great article, da 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 da, and then it's a link to Viagra or something. And I think there are exceptions. If it's a community association and they're wanting to post those blogs and people, ask questions, they may want to have comments. but I would make sure that you have free commenting turned off and that comments must be approved. For the spammers, of course, and for some disgruntled people that may spout some craziness and incite a riot. It does happen. And it might be a legitimate concern, but it's not an appropriate comment. And you can read it, you can approve it, and then, or not approve it, and then reach out and solve the problem in a private manner and not in a public forum of someone that didn't like the way the vote went. But I don't think there's a lot of input on a regular business blog about plumbing or something like that with comments. It's just spam.
Comments were initially, a good intention, and
yeah, it's gone by the wayside.
right.
Now, comments on a YouTube video usually are much better, and in social media, but on a website, the only ones really leaving comments are the crazies, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. I guess much like how a blog is structured, do you want to close out with a little bit more information of how to get in touch with you for the consultation?
Absolutely. My website is suncoastwebmarketing.com. Email is info@suncoastwebmarketing.com. So you can reach me there via Facebook or the website. I do have a scheduler on the website too, so you can book appointments right there. And I'll be happy to answer questions. If someone comes up with a question later that's running through their head, shoot me an email. I have no problem answering them.
Awesome. Well, we thank you. This video will be available on CAI West Florida Chapter's YouTube channel within the next day or two. Nimie
Awesome.
has given us permission to share that, and I've already got some questions about it. This will be available in the future. So please use this as a resource moving forward. Please use Nimie as a resource moving forward if you're interested in getting more involved in blogs within your business. We're getting a lot of thank yous in the chat for you, Nimie. So again, we really appreciate your time and your knowledge. And I hope to see you down the road, that you can assist us.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity, and anytime I can help, I'll be more than happy to.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for attending today. We appreciate the time. And Nimie, thank you again.
Thank you.
All righty. Take care.
Bye-bye.